conceptual perspective to view things. People talk about it Saturday success, all of the elements.
Hello everybody, Dr. Rick Wallace here, dropping in on you. Forgive me if there's any ambient noises. I am working at home today, actually last couple of days. Probably be back in the office on tomorrow, but I wanted to take time to remind you guys that we are in the middle of an important fundraiser for the work we do in the community in general, and especially for work we do with young black boys and young black girls. There's a major push for the Black Men Lead program because we're either going to be building strong black men by way of healthy young boys, or we are going to spend a lot of energy and time trying to heal broken men as they continuously break things and others. I have been doing this work for some time on the heels and back of research that shows that socialization is the way to go. We are gaining ground and doing work, and we are producing results, but we need to do it on a larger scale. We need to be more focused, and I can tell you from experience, and it doesn't take a great deal of understanding to get this. You can have all the answers you want to have. You can have a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of understanding. Without resources, you can't get the work done. And a lot of children in that time frame slip through the cracks. And we end up dealing with them on the back end. And then we end up with the comments of, oh my God, shaking my head and all the things. And the truth of the matter is, if we get them early enough, we can cut off a great deal of intimate partner violence, black male on black male violence, incarceration, high school dropout rate would drop, business ownership would increase. We know this because we've done the work. We've done the work for over 25 years in understanding it from a research perspective, from the perspective of empirical data, and being able to literally look at the numbers and see how it works. Every other group has a rite of passage program where manhood is universally identified, so they understand what being a man in that particular enclave is. We don't even have a universal understanding of what black manhood is. Everybody's defining it based off of what they think their strengths are, so they can push that. We need men who can perform in the areas that we need our men to perform in, and that's the goal of Black Men Lead, to teach them the principles of manhood, starting with a black man never brings harm to a black woman, teaching them the importance of black business ownership, teaching them the importance of responsibility and understanding how important their presence and role is in the home, and so much more. I am asking you to help us achieve our goal of this week, which is $10,000. The link to support our work is going to be in the description box. If you prefer to give via the Cash App way, the organization's Cash App handle will be in the description box. For those of you who have followed me for any stretch of time, you know this isn't new. This is something that I'm passionate about. This is something that I have been talking about and presenting and working on a substantial part of my adult lifehood one way or another, and definitely in the last 20 years. So again, this is extremely important for our future. We can talk about black empowerment until we're blue in the face. If we don't have a male population that is productive and in place and doing what we need them to do, we're simply talking. It's time for us to take action. Again, I'm asking you to reach inside and support the work we're doing. Again, we're getting people referred to us on a daily basis. We need the ability to address the issues that they're dealing with, provide them with wraparound services for the older guys, and to implement on a national level a rite of passage initiative that universally identifies manhood so that we can start building men we can depend on consistently across the board, regardless of where we're living. And on that note, I'm out of here. The rest of the video is just a little idea of the work we do in the community. It's a little something to share with you. Again, thank you. Have a good day. I'm out.
So that lit me up when Michael called me and told me what was going on and said, hey man, this is huge. Just a little bit more than I was planning on getting into, and I would love to have you be a part of it. That wasn't anything I had to think about. This is what I live for. This is what I dedicated and given my life to. I like to tell people when I meet them, I tell them that I've accomplished a lot. I'm grateful for what I've been blessed to accomplish. And I'm honest, the first half of my life was about me. It was about what I could do, what I could accomplish, what I could buy, where I could go, what I could do. And then there was at some point where a light went on. And the message to me when that light went on was, Rick, it's not about you. And from that point, it stopped being about me and it started being about me building my legacy. Support you after you retired. I was getting ready to go in and he said, sit down, boy.
Related. Guess what? We only make up 13% of this country's population. But our young black men make up 51% of the prison population. What's different between you and them? Nothing. They set you up for the open door and you thought it was cool and you took it. You know, I don't fail, no. You failed to succeed. The only way that you succeed is by fail. If you're afraid to fail, you will never succeed. Michael Jordan, arguably the greatest player that's ever played basketball.
You gotta do
Fill up your brain.
fill up your brain with what?
Knowledge.
With knowledge. What kind of knowledge?
Text.
What was that? You said
Common
math?
sense.
All type of knowledge like science, mathematics, things like that?
Common sense.
You said
Math.
math?
Get off the streets, go to college, go to high school, get education.
But you know what? Y'all laughing, but that's serious though. I understand we want to laugh, have a good time, but it's truth in what he's saying. It's changing our whole direction. It's self-love, dealing with each other on that kind of level. Because we keep going like we're going to extinct people. You know what I mean when I say that? We're not going to be here no more. We in prisons, we killing each other to get stripes in the hood because we've been taught to be this way. So we're here to let you know that it's been a lie this whole time. Don't fall for the lie. I wish I was 8, 9, 10, 15 years old and knew everything that I know now, because it's been a whole different course. But now that I do know, it's time for y'all to learn that too and keep it going. Who in here wants to have their own business? Wow, look at that. Look at that. All of y'all. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Something that's part of your intellect, it's part of your obtained knowledge. In other words, you talk with a different vernacular than white children. They came up in a different culture. how you talk and how they talk is totally different, but the test is based on how they talk. So guess what? They're going to go higher. But that's not intelligence. That's not their intelligence. That's what they've learned. But that's what they use to always put out these studies to say that white students test 15 to 20 points higher on IQ tests on average. That's because y'all full of bull. When you put us down, we're highly creative. Think of some of the things we figure out how to get in the hood with no money. We're very creative. We're very innovative. Think of, if you go back, just do a research when you get off, do an internet research on all things invented and created by blacks. Find out half the things that they're taking credit for, we did. We are not dumb. We're not stupid. We need to stop believing it. There's a guy who wrote a book called Brainwashed named Tom Burrell. He spent 30-something years in the marketing and advertising world. He started his own company, Black Guy. And what he learned is how they're using propaganda channels. Another good book on propaganda is a book called Propaganda by Edward Bernays, who is actually the guy who created the campaign that got white women smoking. They weren't smoking before this campaign, but he told them it was cool, it was fly, it was sexy. And did that through the radio and the TV. That is how powerful this is. Half the things that people are doing that they think this is what I love to do and want to do, no, that's what you've been told you love to do and want to do. If you don't know who you are, if you don't develop a positive self-image of who you are yourself, you will find yourself being led by what others believe about you or want you to believe about yourself. And so now we get back into that. So one way that you manage that is manage what you intake. The only way that you stop the propaganda machine, the only way that you stop it is to monitor what you allow to come into your gates, your eyes and your ears. If you allow anything to come in, anything has an impact. If everything you see is about clapping, popping, whatever the latest term for shooting a gun is this week. Because it's, I remember it used to be wetting, it's been clapping, popping a cap, banging, whatever it is that tells you that's what we're supposed to be doing with each other, put that crap down, because that's purposely been put there to get us to kill one another. Because see, every time a black man takes the life of another black man, that's two black men that they don't have to worry about. The one that's dead and the one that's in prison. And they have found a way to continue slavery in prison. This is how. When slavery ended in 1865, they started a process of incarcerating, putting in prison, black men at a high rate. And then they started a program called convict leasing. In other words, that's what businesses came to the state and say, I will pay you $50 per man per day for them to come out and work on my railroad, for them to come out and dig my ditch, for them to come out and do it. That's why you see those old moving, those dudes on there, they're doing the railroad. Those are prisoners that private companies paid for to come out there and do work. It's called convict leasing back then. Well, it kept on going. It went on through what was called Jim Crow laws. Jim Crow laws were laws that were put in place to make sure that the black men who had all the skills, because they were the slaves, they built the houses, they plowed the fields, they did it. They were the ones with the skills, so they would be the ones that would have been hired for the jobs. But they put in laws to make it very difficult to hire blacks over whites. And that started Jim Crow. This also started when you saw the Ku Klux Klan come in, and they started lynching brothers because they were intimidated and scared. And so black men was an issue with them. And so every chance they get, they were lynching. Went through that process, and then we got to mass incarceration in the late 70s, early 80s. Well, they started again, but this time, instead of convict leasing, the businessman got even more
savvy.
Business savvy. He said, I'm not just gonna hire these cats from the prison. I'm gonna go out and build prisons, and then I'm gonna charge the state for them to house their prisoners. So now I'm getting paid to put them in the prison, then I'm using their labor for private businesses. So I'm profiting multiple ways off of this. And we only make up 13% of the population in this country. That means girls, boys, men, children, but our men make up 40% of the population in prison. We have the majority population.
Hello everybody, Dr. Rick Wallace here, dropping in with a little special announcement. For those who have followed me for any stretch of time, outside of the businesses that I run, like Myriad Business Solutions, the Epigenetics Institute, Odyssey Media Group, I also do a great deal of work inside of the inner city communities in Houston, Dallas, and other areas. I'm asking now, as we push a fundraiser, that you support what the Odyssey Project is doing in the inner cities, especially with programs like Black Men Lead, which is a rite of passage initiative, and Restoring Ghetto's Forgotten Daughters, which is a program focused on helping young girls, but boys as well, suffering from childhood sexual abuse, rape, molestation, domestic abuse, absentee fatherhood, and so many other things. The information will be in the box. Thank you.